I'll say go for launch.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everyone wants to make a difference in the world. This isn't enough for Elon Musk. His goals extend far beyond this planet. Musk's ultimate objective is to propagate human civilization beyond Earth. While everyone else is engaged in this world, Elon Musk is laying the route for future generations to go to the stars. SpaceX intends to transport 80,000 people to Mars by 2040, with the first crewed voyage slated for 2029. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will tell you the story of Falcon Heavy from concept to launch. Stay tuned with us and don't skip any part of the video, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Falcon is a privately constructed family of 3 launch vehicles: Falcon 1, Falcon 9, and Falcon Heavy, built by SpaceX with backing from South African-born American entrepreneur Elon Musk. The first Falcon 1 test flight occurred on March 24, 2006 on Kerguelen Atoll in the Pacific Ocean, but it failed just 25 seconds after liftoff. Corrosion between a nut and a gasoline line caused the line to leak, resulting in an engine fire. Later that year, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) awarded SpaceX a $278 million contract for 3 test flights of the company's Dragon spacecraft and Falcon 9. 2 following tests of Falcon 1 resulted in failure, but on September 28, 2008, Falcon 1 successfully reached Earth orbit. Falcon 1 flew one more time before being replaced by Falcon 9. The first Falcon 9 test flight took place on June 4, 2010 from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and the first resupply mission to the International Space Station took place on October 7, 2012. Testing on a reusable first stage for the Falcon 9 that would land on a floating platform started in 2014. A Falcon 9 launched a cargo into orbit on December 21, 2015, and its first stage landed at Cape Canaveral. On April 8, 2016, the first Falcon 9 first stage ship landed, and on March 30, 2017, SpaceX performed its first relaunch of a previously flown Falcon 9 first stage. On February 6, 2018, the first Falcon Heavy test flight took place. The center core stage was not recovered, but the 2 side boosters returned to Cape Canaveral successfully. The cargo, a Tesla Roadster outfitted with a SpaceX spacesuit, was launched into orbit around the Sun. On April 11, 2019, Falcon Heavy launched its maiden operational flight. On May 30, 2020, a Falcon 9 rocket launched the first private crewed spacecraft, a Dragon, transporting astronauts Doug Hurley and Robert Behnken to the International Space Station. Let me tell you a little bit about its past. Proposals for a Falcon Heavy launch vehicle with 3 Falcon 1 core rockets and a payload to LEU capability of 2 tons were first considered in 2003. The Falcon 9 Heavy was the name given to the proposal for 3 main booster stages of the company's yet-to-fly Falcon 9. SpaceX presented the Falcon Heavy proposal to the public in April 2011 during a press conference in Washington, D.C., with the first test flight scheduled for 2013. A variety of issues pushed back the intended inaugural flight to 2018, including 2 Falcon 9 launch vehicle abnormalities that needed all technical resources to be allocated to failure study, effectively suspending flight operations for months. The structural and integration problems of merging 3 Falcon 9 cores were much more complex than anticipated. Elon Musk said in July 2017, "Falcon Heavy proved to be much more difficult than we anticipated. We were somewhat ignorant about it." The first Falcon Heavy test flight took place on February 6, 2018 at 20:45 UTC, delivering a dummy payload, Elon Musk's own Tesla Roadster, beyond Mars orbit. Musk said that the Falcon Heavy was created with private funding at a cost of more than $500 million. Its development received no government funding. Let me tell you about the Falcon Heavy's design. Falcon Heavy is made up of a structurally strengthened Falcon 9 as the core component and 2 additional Falcon 9 first stages with aerodynamic nose cones mounted outboard serving as strap-on boosters similar to the Delta IV Heavy launcher and proposals for the Atlas V Heavy and Russian Angara A5V. This triple first stage transports a conventional Falcon 9 second stage, which then transports the payload in a fairing. With the payload of 63,800 kgs, 140,700 pounds to low Earth orbit, 26,700 kgs, 58,900 pounds to geostationary transfer orbit, and 16,800 kgs, 37,000 pounds to trans-Mars injection, the Falcon Heavy has the most lift capability of any active rocket. The rocket was intended to meet or surpass all existing human rating criteria. The structural safety margins are 40% above flight loads, which is larger than previous rockets' 25% margins. Falcon Heavy was built from the ground up to transport people into space, and it would reintroduce the prospect of crewed missions to the Moon or Mars. Let me tell you about the Falcon Heavy's first commercial contracts. SpaceX announced in May 2012 that Intelsat had secured the first commercial contract for a Falcon Heavy launch. It was not specified when the first Intelsat launch will take place, but the arrangement calls for SpaceX to deploy satellites into geosynchronous transfer orbit (GTO). This Intelsat contract was transferred in August 2016 to a Falcon 9 full-thrust mission to bring Intelsat 35E into orbit in the third quarter of 2017. The Falcon 9 vehicle family's performance advancements since the 2012 announcement, advertising 8.3T, 18,000 pounds to GTO for its expendable flight profile, allowed the launch of the 6T satellite without upgrading to a Falcon Heavy version. Inmarsat scheduled 3 Falcon Heavy launches in 2014. However, owing to delays, they transferred a cargo to Ariane 5 for 2017. In the same way that the Intelsat 35E satellite was upgraded to a Falcon 9 full thrust due to greater liftoff capacity, another satellite from the same deal, Inmarsat 5F4, was upgraded to a Falcon 9 full thrust. The remaining contract involves the launch of Inmarsat 6 F1 on a Falcon 9 in 2020. Contracts with the Department of Defense. SpaceX announced its first Falcon Heavy launch contract with the US Department of Defense in December 2012. The Space and Missile Systems Center of the United States Air Force granted SpaceX 2 Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle (EELV) class missions, including the Space Test Program 2 (STP-2) mission for Falcon Heavy. STP-2 Space Test Program 2 mission. The cargo for the Department of Defense's STP-2 mission includes 25 tiny spacecraft from the US military, NASA, and academic institutions. The Green Propellant Infusion Mission (GPIM) was a payload that was designed in part by the United States Air Force to showcase a less toxic propellant. NASA awards contracts for solar system transport missions. In 2011, NASA Ames Research Center suggested a Mars mission named Red Dragon that would employ a Falcon Heavy as the launch vehicle and trans-Martian injection vehicle and a derivative of the Dragon capsule to penetrate the Martian atmosphere. Missions to the Moon. Falcon Heavy is the launch vehicle for the Lunar Gateway's first modules, which include the Power and Propulsion Element (PPE) and the Habitation and Logistics Outpost (HALO). To reduce complexity, NASA stated in February 2021 that the first 2 parts will be launched on a single Falcon Heavy launch vehicle with a launch date no sooner than November 2024. Before transitioning to a combined launch, NASA designated Falcon Heavy as the launch vehicle for the lone flight in April 2020. Falcon Heavy was awarded the first resupply mission to the Gateway in March 2020, deploying a new Dragon XL spacecraft in a translunar injection orbit. The Europa Clipper and Psyche. NASA has selected the Falcon Heavy launch vehicle for its Psyche mission to a metallic asteroid, which is scheduled to launch in October 2023. The deal is worth $117 million. According to Jefferies, SpaceX earned $2 million after successfully launching the Falcon Heavy. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like and share it with your friends, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.